Before the glitz and glamour of the modern Premier League, with its international stars and global fanbase, English football was a much more insular place. That's not to say foreign players were unheard of in the old Football League, but they were often the exception, not the rule. Then came 1992. The formation of the Premier League didn't just change the branding or the TV rights, it kicked off a transformation that would open the doors to talent from all over the world. Slowly but surely, players from Europe, Africa, South America, and beyond started filtering in. Some came with big reputations, others were complete unknowns, but all of them were part of something new. In this video, we're going back to the very beginning of that era to look at the first foreign players to represent each club in the Premier League. These were the pioneers, men who arrived before it was trendy, before the league was a global phenomenon, and sometimes before their teammates could even pronounce their names. We'll go club by club, checking in on how their Premier League journeys unfolded, what they brought to the table, and, perhaps most intriguingly, what they're up to now. Some went on to become icons, some had just a fleeting cameo, and a few have stories that are stranger than fiction. Let's dive in. Just for clarity, what we are classing as foreign in this video is anybody not from the home nations, or the British Isles if you like. So that's Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland, Republic of Ireland, and of course, obviously, England. Further to add, if a player was born in the UK but represents another country, then we are classing them as foreign for the sake of this video. Anyway, enough of the housekeeping, let's kick off. Arsenal's Foreign Legion in the 1992-93 season consisted of 3 players. Danish international John Jensen joined that summer. He played 99 times for the Gunners, scoring a single goal before leaving in 1996. He later turned out for Brøndby before retiring in 2001. After hanging up his boots, he moved into coaching, managing several Danish clubs and briefly serving as Blackburn Rovers assistant manager in 2011. His most recent role was as interim manager of the Danish national team. Anders Limpar, a Swedish international, had been at Highbury since 1990. He played 96 times for Arsenal, scoring an impressive 17 goals before joining Everton in '94. He later had notable spells with the likes of Birmingham City and Colorado Rapids, retiring in 2002. He is now a businessman and serves as the CEO of bestbettoday.com. The third player was lesser-known Norwegian Pal Lydersen. He made just 15 appearances for Arsenal between 1990 and '95. He later played in Austria for Sturm Graz before retiring at Molde in 1999. He is now back in Norway and is the managing director of a company called PST Sports. Aston Villa listed 5 foreign nationals in the Premier League's debut campaign. Australian goalkeeper Mark Bosnich would eventually usurp long-standing Nigel Spink as number 1, making 179 league appearances between 1992 and 1999. He joined Manchester United as Peter Schmeichel's replacement, but it proved to be a disastrous spell. He later had a stint at Chelsea, leaving after failing a drugs test in 2003. Bosnich eventually retired in 2009 and has since worked as a pundit on Australian television. Next up was Polish fullback Dariusz Kubicki. He made only 25 appearances before joining Sunderland in 1994. He remained in England for the rest of his career, playing for Wolves, Tranmere Rovers, Carlisle United, and Darlington, retiring in 1999. Since then, he has led a nomadic coaching career in Polish and Russian football, with 14 different appointments across 11 clubs, most notably Legia Warsaw and Lechia Gdansk. His most recent role was with Olimpia Grudziądz. German midfielder Stefan Beinlich had an underwhelming spell in England, making 16 appearances for Villa before returning to Germany in 1994. He later played for clubs such as Bayer Leverkusen and Hertha Berlin, earning 5 caps for Germany between 1998 and 2000. He now works in the academy at Hansa Rostock as the club's academy director. Fellow German Matthias Breitkreutz had an equally uninspiring time at Villa Park, playing 21 times before also departing in 1994. He later returned to Germany, with spells at Hansa Rostock and Arminia Bielefeld. After retiring, he left football and now works as a medical clerk at the University Hospital of Augsburg. The final Villa player was Trinidadian Dwight Yorke. He became a prolific scorer and won several domestic cups, netting 73 league goals over 231 appearances before joining Manchester United in 1998. There, he won the treble in his first season and became a club legend. He later had spells with Blackburn Rovers, Birmingham City, and Sunderland. Yorke retired in 2009 and is currently employed as head coach of the Trinidad and Tobago national team. Blackburn Rovers featured 3 foreign players during the inaugural Premier League season. Australian goalkeeper Frank Talia was a backup option at Ewood Park. He failed to make a first-team appearance in the league and left the club in 1995. He later found regular football in the lower leagues, most notably with Swindon Town, where he made over 100 appearances, as well as Sheffield United and Wycombe Wanderers. After retiring in 2007, Talia returned to Australia and has since worked as a goalkeeping coach. His teammate, Norwegian defender Henning Berg, became a key figure for Rovers after signing from Lillestrøm in 1992. He made 159 league appearances for the club and was part of the famous title-winning side in the 94-95 campaign. Berg moved to Manchester United in 1997, adding more silverware to his collection before returning to Blackburn in 2000. He retired in 2004 and went into management, taking charge of various clubs across Europe such as Legia Warsaw and AIK Solna, even returning to Blackburn briefly in 2012. He is currently head coach of AEK Larnaca in the Cypriot First Division. The final of Blackburn's foreign contingent was Swedish centre-back Patrick Andersson. He joined from Malmö in 1992, but struggled to adapt, making only 12 league appearances before leaving in 1994. His career blossomed after leaving England, with successful spells at Borussia Mönchengladbach before joining giants Bayern Munich, where he won the Bundesliga and Champions League. He moved to Spain in 2001, spending 3 injury-hit years at Camp Nou with Barcelona. He earned 96 caps for Sweden and retired in 2005. Since retirement, he has worked in a number of advisory roles and was a club scout for Manchester United. Chelsea fielded 3 foreign players during the inaugural Premier League season. Russian goalkeeper Dmitry Kurin joined Chelsea from CSKA Moscow in 1992. He quickly established himself as the club's number 1, making 118 league appearances over 7 seasons, although much of his later years at Stamford Bridge saw him utilised as a backup keeper. Known for his agility and distinctive sweatpants and mullet, he left for Celtic in 1999 and retired in 2004. Since then, he has settled in England and has worked as a goalkeeping coach, including spells at Luton Town, Stevenage, and currently with Hemel Hempstead Town. Teammate, Norwegian midfielder Erlend Jonsson arrived at Stamford Bridge in 1989 from Bayern Munich. A composed presence in defence or midfield, he made 145 league appearances for the Blues before leaving in 1997. Jonsson returned to Norway, finishing his playing career at Strømsgodset. After retirement, he moved into coaching and youth development, managing several lower league teams in his home country, as well as a number of roles within some of the Norwegian national youth teams. He is currently the youth director at Sarpsborg. The third was Jamaican international Frank Sinclair, who came through Chelsea's youth ranks. Although born in England, Sinclair represented Jamaica internationally. He made 169 league appearances for Chelsea between 1990 and 1998, and played a key role in their FA Cup win in '97. He later enjoyed long spells at Leicester City and Burnley, before dropping into the lower leagues with teams such as Huddersfield Town and Lincoln City. After retiring in 2015, Sinclair moved into coaching, managing non-league sides like Colwyn Bay and Hednesford Town. He has since coached at Stoke City's academy, and was most recently an academy coach at Doncaster Rovers. Coventry City had 2 foreign players on their books during the Premier League's debut season. Zimbabwean forward Peter Undlove made history as the first African footballer to play in the Premier League, having joined Coventry from Highlanders in 1991. A skillful and unpredictable winger, he became a fan favourite at Highfield Road, making 176 league appearances and scoring 39 goals before moving to Birmingham City in 1997. He later played for Sheffield United, before winding down his playing days back in Zimbabwe and South Africa. Off the pitch, Undlove has remained a high-profile figure in his homeland, including a stint as assistant team manager for the Zimbabwe national team, and was last the manager of the Mamelodi Sundowns. In recent years, he has also made headlines for being involved in a legal child maintenance dispute, having reportedly fathered 13 children. Next up is Roy Wegerle, a South African-born striker who represented the United States internationally. He joined Coventry from Blackburn Rovers in 1992. A technically gifted forward, he scored 9 goals in 53 league appearances, before moving back to the United States in 1995. Wegerle would go on to feature in Major League Soccer during its early years, turning out for teams like Colorado Rapids, DC United, and Tampa Bay Mutiny. After retiring, he pursued a brief career as a professional golfer, and has worked as a co-host for ESPN. Crystal Palace had 2 players of foreign nationality listed during the Premier League's inaugural season. Midfielder Bobby Bowry was born in England but represented St Kitts and Nevis at international level. A product of the Palace youth system, he made his senior debut in 1992 and went on to make 50 league appearances for the club, scoring once, before moving to Millwall in 1995. He later had spells with Colchester United and made a name for himself in the lower leagues before finishing his career in non-league football with Gravesend and Northfleet. After retiring, Bowry became a football agent, working closely with young talent and helping manage their careers off the pitch. George Undar, a powerful forward born in England, chose to represent Nigeria internationally. Although he wouldn't become a regular for a few years yet, he was still part of the squad, and ultimately made 101 league appearances for Palace between 1992 and 1997, scoring 11 goals. A move to Swindon Town followed, and he later enjoyed a popular, albeit injury-hit spell at Wolverhampton Wanderers, where he became a fan's favourite. Undar retired in 2006 and has since worked away from the sport. Yugoslav-born American international Preki, whose full name is Predrag Radosavljevic, was a skillful attacking midfielder who joined Everton in 1992 from St. Louis Storm in the United States. He made 46 league appearances for the Toffees, scoring 4 goals before moving to Portsmouth in 1994. He later returned to the US, where he became a star in Major League Soccer with Kansas City Wizards and earned 28 caps for the US national team. After retiring, Preki moved into management, coaching clubs such as Chivas USA, Toronto FC and St. Louis FC. He is currently the assistant manager of the Seattle Sounders. Polish winger Robert Varzajar joined Everton in 1991 from Górnik Zabrze and became the first European to score a Premier League goal. Known for his work rate and delivery from wide areas, he made 72 league appearances and scored 6 goals before departing in 1994. Varzajar moved to the US, where he spent several years with Columbus Crew as both a player and coach, including a spell as head coach from 2009 to 2013. He returned to Poland in 2014 and most recently managed Górnik Zabrze, the club where his career had begun. Next up, Australian goalkeeper Jason Kearton was at Everton from 1988 to 96, largely serving as backup to Neville Southall. He made 6 league appearances for the club before joining Crewe Alexandra, where he became first-choice keeper and played 191 league games over 6 years. After returning to Australia, Kearton retired in 2004 and became a respected goalkeeping coach, including a spell with Brisbane Roar, and now runs his own academy in Queensland. Ipswich Town featured 5 foreign players during the inaugural Premier League season. Canadian goalkeeper Craig Forrest was the club's long-serving number 1 and a key figure throughout the early Premier League years. He made 263 league appearances for Ipswich between 1988 and 1997. While generally a solid and dependable presence, he's perhaps unfairly remembered by some for conceding 9 goals in a heavy defeat to Manchester United in 1995. Forrest had a brief loan with Chelsea, before ending his career with a 5-year stint at West Ham United, where he was predominantly used as a backup keeper. Following retirement in 2002, has become a well-regarded football co-commentator and pundit back home working for Sportsnet. Frank Yallop, also a Canadian international, was actually born in England but moved to Canada at a young age. A versatile and consistent fullback, he made an impressive 389 league appearances for Ipswich between 1983 and 1996. After retiring, Yallop forged a successful coaching career, initially coaching the Canada national team between 2004 and 2006, before switching to Major League Soccer, where he managed LA Galaxy. He was David Beckham's first stateside coach, before later managing the likes of San Jose Earthquakes, Chicago Fire, and Phoenix Rising. His most recent role was as head coach and sporting director of Monterey Bay FC. Next up was fans' favourite, Bulgarian playmaker Boncho Guenchev, who joined Ipswich in 1992 and brought flair and international pedigree to the squad. He made 61 league appearances and scored 6 goals before leaving in 1995, a star of Bulgaria's incredible run to the semi-finals at USA 94. He later played for Luton Town and returned to Bulgaria with CSKA Sofia. He began winding down his career in non-league football back in England, with clubs like Carshalton Athletic and Hendon. After retiring, he remained in the country for many years but returned to Bulgaria in 2016, where he briefly managed Etar Veliko Tarnovo. Next up was Vlado Bozanovski, one of the more obscure players in this video. The Yugoslavian-born Australian international was signed from Sporting Lisbon in 1992. The midfielder made 9 league appearances for Ipswich before departing in the summer of '93. He returned to Portugal with Paços de Ferreira before spending the final 6 years of his career playing in Singapore. In 2001, he served as player-manager of Clemente Calça, and later transitioned into a career as a football agent. The final Ipswich player was Australian goalkeeper Andy Pettersson, who joined Ipswich on loan from Luton Town in 1993, making a single Premier League appearance. He went on to have a lengthy journeyman career across the English Football League, most notably with Charlton Athletic, Portsmouth and Brighton. Pettersson retired in 2010 and has since worked as a goalkeeping coach across Asia, including a role with Ilocos United in the Philippines. In 2016, he was inducted into the Football Hall of Fame in Western Australia. Leeds United had 3 foreign players on their books during the inaugural Premier League season. Maltese-born left-back Dylan Kerr made 20 league appearances for Leeds between 1989 and 1993, having joined from Arcadia Shepherds in South Africa. He later signed permanently for Reading, where he made over 100 appearances, and went on to do the same at Kilmarnock. In the latter stages of his career, Kerr became a journeyman across the lower leagues of English and Scottish football, before retiring in 2003. He transitioned into coaching and has had a colourful managerial career across Africa, with his most recent role coming in 2023 as manager of South African side Marumo Gallants. French forward Eric Cantona arrived at Leeds from Nimes in early 1992 and played a vital role in their First Division title win that same year. He made 28 league appearances and scored 9 goals for the club. However, his time at Ellen Road was short-lived. He was famously sold to Manchester United in November 1992 in one of the most significant and controversial transfers in English football history. At Old Trafford, Cantona became a club legend, winning 4 Premier League titles and 2 FA Cups. He's also remembered for the infamous 1995 Kung Fu kick on a Crystal Palace supporter, which led to a lengthy ban. Since retiring in 1997, Cantona has pursued a career in acting and the arts. In 2025, he became co-owner of FC United of Manchester and has been an outspoken critic of Manchester United's ownership, publicly opposing both the Glazers and Jim Ratcliffe. The final player was Norwegian international striker Frank Strandli, who joined Leeds in January 1993 from IK Start. He made 16 league appearances and scored 2 goals during his brief spell at Elland Road. Strandli later played for Brann, Lillestrøm and Panathinaikos before retiring. He now runs his own pizza restaurant and has largely stepped away from the footballing spotlight. Liverpool had 5 foreign players on their books during the inaugural Premier League season. Zimbabwean goalkeeper Bruce Grobbelaar was already a veteran presence by 1992, having spent over a decade at Anfield making 440 league appearances. He remained with Liverpool until 1994, before joining Southampton, and later winding down his playing career in nomadic fashion, with clubs including Sheffield Wednesday, Plymouth Argyle and Lincoln City. While still playing, he managed the Zimbabwe national team in 1997 and 1998, and later coached clubs in South Africa, including SuperSport United. In 2018, he made headlines by earning a cap for Matabeleland, a non-FIFA recognized team. Grobbelaar is currently the goalkeeping coach at Norwegian side Øygarden FK. Moving on, Danish midfielder Jan Molby was one of the most technically gifted players of his generation, known for his passing range and intelligence on the ball. He made 218 league appearances for Liverpool between 1984 and 1996, scoring 44 goals. After leaving Anfield, he became player manager at Swansea City before going on to manage Kidderminster Harriers and Hull City. Since retiring from management, Molby has kept a moderately low profile, although still holds strong ties to Liverpool and attends games and reunions quite frequently. Next up was Norwegian left-back Stig Inge Bjørneby, who joined Liverpool from Rosenborg in 1992 and went on to make 139 appearances for the club, scoring 2 goals. He became a dependable figure under Roy Evans before departing in 2000 to join Blackburn Rovers. After retiring, he went into coaching, managing Norwegian side IK Start and serving as assistant coach to the Norway national team. He has also worked in sporting director roles, including a stint at Rosenborg. He is currently employed as the sporting director at Danish side AGF. Another one for the obscure fans, Danish centre-back Torben Piechnik was signed from Lyngby in '92, but struggled to settle in English football, making just 17 league appearances before leaving in 1994. He returned to Denmark with AGF, and retired shortly afterwards. Post-football, Pichnik has worked in property and also trained as a sports masseur. Another mildly unknown player was Hungarian midfielder István Kozma, who arrived from Dunfermline Athletic in 1992 but failed to make an impact at Anfield, making just 6 league appearances. Regarded as one of the club's most forgettable signings, Kozma continued his playing career with spells at Újpest and Apoel Nicosia, before seeing out his career in the Hungarian lower leagues and retiring in 2004. After retiring, he returned to Újpest as part of their coaching staff and was appointed manager in 2013. Though sacked later that year, he remained at the club and transitioned into a role as their video analyst. Manchester City had 2 foreign players in their squad during the inaugural Premier League season. Dutch centre-back Mikel Vonk joined City from AZ Alkmaar in 1992 and became a solid figure in defence during a turbulent period for the club, serving as a centre-back pairing with Keith Curle. He made 91 league appearances and scored 3 goals before moving to Sheffield United in 1995. After returning to the Netherlands, he played for MVV Maastricht before retiring in 2001. Since hanging up his boots, Vonk has gone into coaching and management, taking charge of sides including Sparta Rotterdam and Telstar. He is currently the manager of Young IZ, the second team of AZ Alkmaar. The other City player was Norwegian midfielder Kari Ingebrigtsen, who arrived at Main Road from Rosenborg in 1992. He made 15 league appearances and scored 3 goals during his brief time in England, before returning to Norway with Lillestrøm in 1994. The rest of his playing career was more fragmented, as he moved between several clubs before retiring in 2001. Ingebrigtsen later became a successful manager, most notably winning 3 consecutive league titles with Rosenborg between 2015 and 2017. His other managerial roles have included stints with Bodo Glimt, Brann, Apoel Nicosia, and, most recently, Ranheim. Manchester United had 3 foreign players during the inaugural Premier League season, although Eric Cantona we have already covered in the Leeds United section. Peter Schmeichel, the commanding Danish goalkeeper, joined United from Brøndby in 1991 and quickly became one of the best in the world. He was instrumental in helping United win the league in 92-93, their first top-flight title in 26 years, and went on to make 292 league appearances before leaving in 1999, after captaining the club to their historic treble. Schmeichel later played for Sporting Lisbon, Aston Villa, and even Manchester City before retiring in 2003. Since then, he has worked as a television pundit and ambassador. His son, Kasper Schmeichel, also went on to enjoy a successful career, famously winning the Premier League with Leicester City. His teammate, Andrei Kanchelskis, was a lightning-quick Ukrainian-born winger from Russia, who joined United from Shakhtar Donetsk in 1991 and became a fan favorite with his pace and direct style. He scored 28 goals in 123 league appearances and was a key figure in United's early Premier League success. In 1995, following a falling out with Sir Alex Ferguson, he was sold to Everton, where he continued to impress. Kanchelskis also later played for Fiorentina, Rangers, Manchester City, and Southampton, before winding down his playing career with various clubs in Russia and the Middle East, retiring in 2007. He moved into management with teams in Russia, Uzbekistan, and Kyrgyzstan, and is currently the manager of Dynamo Bryansk in Russia's second tier. Middlesbrough were one of the few clubs in the inaugural Premier League season to field an entirely British Isles-based squad. Every player listed during the 92-93 campaign was either English, Scottish, Welsh, or Irish. That said, it's worth pointing out, Dwight Marshall, who made 3 appearances on loan from Luton Town during the season, was born in Jamaica but moved to England at a young age and was listed as English throughout the entirety of his playing career. Norwich City had 2 players of foreign nationality listed during the inaugural Premier League season. Efan Ekoku joined Norwich City from Bournemouth in March 1993 and made an immediate impact, scoring 3 goals in 10 league appearances as the Canaries secured an impressive third-place finish. Born in England, Ekoku represented Nigeria internationally, earning 6 caps and appearing at the 1994 World Cup. In total, he played 38 league games for Norwich, scoring 16 goals, including a famous 4-goal haul against Everton in 1993, the first time a player scored more than 4 in a Premier League match. Ekoku later played for Wimbledon, where he played for various seasons, becoming a fan's favourite before going on to play for Grasshoppers Zurich and Sheffield Wednesday, retiring in 2004. Since then, he has worked as a pundit, predominantly for ESPN. Moving on, Rule Fox, a pacey and skillful winger, was born in England, but went on to represent Montserrat at international level. He was a vital part of the Norwich side that finished third in the inaugural Premier League season and featured prominently in their famous UEFA Cup win over Bayern Munich. Fox made 173 league appearances for Norwich, scoring 22 goals, before moving to Newcastle United in 1994, and later to Tottenham Hotspur and West Bromwich Albion. He retired in 2002 and went on to coach the Montserrat national team as a player coach. He is currently the chairman of non-league side Witton United, a team who he has previously managed, maintaining his connection to the game at the grassroots level. Nottingham Forest had just one foreign player listed during the inaugural Premier League season, Toddy Orliksson. Real name, Þórður Orliksson. The Icelandic midfielder joined Forest from IA Akranes in 1991. Known for his tireless work rate and tidy distribution, he made 37 league appearances for the club, scoring 2 goals. Despite his contributions, Forest were relegated at the end of the 92-93 season. Orliksson remained at the City ground for one more year before moving to Stoke City in 1994, where he became a key player. He later had a spell at Oldham Athletic, before retiring in 2003. Following his playing career, Orliksson returned to Iceland and took up coaching, managing clubs such as Fram Reykjavik and IA Akranes. He is now the chairman of the Icelandic Football Association. Oldham Athletic had 2 foreign players listed during the inaugural Premier League season. Gunnar Halle, a tireless Norwegian right-back, joined Oldham from Lillestrøm in 1991. He made 188 league appearances and scored an impressive 17 goals for the Latics, no mean feat for a defender, before moving on to Leeds United in 1996. He later played for Bradford City and Wolverhampton Wanderers before retiring in 2003. Halle won over 60 caps for Norway and featured in both the 1994 and 1998 World Cups. Since retiring, he's remained in football, coaching various Norwegian clubs including Lyn, and is currently the manager of Hønefoss in Norway's lower divisions. Orfeo Kaiserveerd remains one of the most obscure names of the Premier League era. A Dutch Surinamese striker, he was signed by Oldham in 1992 and only made a single appearance. He had previously been with Rodez in France, returning to the Netherlands to play for Den Bosch. He retired in 2000. Few photos of him exist online. Interestingly, although little is known of his whereabouts, his football legacy continues through his daughter Lindsay, who plays for the Ajax women's team. Queen's Park Rangers had 2 players of foreign nationality in their squad during the inaugural Premier League season. Jan Stejskal, a Czech international goalkeeper, joined QPR from Sparta Prague in 1990 and became one of the first Eastern European players to settle in English football. He was the club's first-choice keeper at the start of the Premier League era and made 107 league appearances before returning to the Czech Republic in 1994 to sign for Slavia Prague. Stejskal earned 29 caps for Czechoslovakia and 2 for the Czech Republic after the countries split. After retiring in 1999, he became a highly respected goalkeeping coach, spending over a decade with the Czech national team. His most recent club role was with FK Jablonec, where he worked as a goalkeeping coach. Danny Maddox was born in England but represented Jamaica internationally. A tough, committed centre-back, he joined QPR from Tottenham and became a defensive stalwart throughout the early Premier League years. He made 296 league appearances for Rangers between 1987 and 2001, forming a strong partnership with Alan McDonald. Maddox later played for Sheffield Wednesday and Barnet, where he briefly served as caretaker manager in 2004. Since then, he has remained active in football through grassroots coaching and mentoring in the London area. Sheffield United also were one of several clubs in the inaugural Premier League season to field a squad made up entirely of players from the British Isles. Sheffield Wednesday had 2 foreign players during the inaugural Premier League season. John Harkes, an energetic and hard-working American midfielder, joined Wednesday in 1990 from Albany Capitals and became the first American to play in the Premier League. He made 82 league appearances for the Owls, scoring 7 goals, before leaving in 1993. Harkes went on to play for Derby County, West Ham United, and Nottingham Forest, before returning to the United States to feature in Major League Soccer for DC United, New England Revolution, and Columbus Crew. After retiring, he moved into coaching and broadcasting. He was the first head coach in FC Cincinnati's history, and his most recent managerial role was with Greenville Triumph in USL League One. Teammate, Roland Nilsson, a stylish and reliable Swedish right-back, joined Wednesday from IFK Gothenburg in 1989, and went on to make 151 league appearances, scoring 2 goals. After leaving in 1994, he had 2 spells with Coventry City, either side of a return to Sweden with Helsingborgs, before retiring from playing. He later moved into management, taking charge of Coventry City, Malmö, and FC Copenhagen, as well as managing Sweden's under-21 national team. His most recent role was with Gothenburg, although he hasn't been in this role since 2021. Southampton had 1 foreign player during the inaugural Premier League season. Ken Munkau was a Dutch centre-back joined from Chelsea in 1992 and became a key figure in Southampton's defence over the 90s, making 198 league appearances and scoring 10 goals for the club during his time at Southampton from 1992 to 1999. He later played several seasons with Huddersfield Town before retiring in 2001. Since retiring, Munkau has remained active in football media and has worked for Chelsea TV occasionally, but he's now more known for once owning a popular pancake house in the Dutch city of Delft. Tottenham Hotspur had 3 foreign players in their squad during the inaugural Premier League campaign. Erik Thorstvedt, a tall and commanding Norwegian goalkeeper, joined Spurs in 1989 from Gothenburg and quickly became a fan favourite. He made 173 league appearances for the club. Known for his shot-stopping and calm presence, Thorstvedt was Spurs' first-choice keeper throughout the early Premier League years until injuries began to take their toll. He retired in 1996 after a persistent back injury. Following his retirement, he became a high-profile TV pundit in Norway and was a goalkeeping coach for the national team. He also had a spell as director of football at Viking FK, and remains one of Norway's most recognizable football personalities. His teammate, Gudni Bergson, a composed Icelandic defender, arrived at White Hart Lane in 1989 from Valur. He made 71 league appearances for Spurs, but struggled to secure a consistent starting role. In 1995, he moved to Bolton Wanderers, where his career truly took off. Bergson became a key player and club captain at Bolton, helping them win promotion to the Premier League twice, and establishing himself as a cult hero over 270 appearances. After retiring in 2003, he trained as a lawyer, worked as a TV presenter, and later became chairman of the Icelandic Football Association, a role he held during the country's remarkable Euro 2016 run. The final Spurs player on the list was Naeem, full name Mohamed Ali Amar. He joined Spurs from Barcelona in 1988. The Spanish midfielder made 112 league appearances and scored 11 goals, known for his creativity and flair in midfield. In 1993, he returned to Spain with Real Zaragoza, where he enjoyed the most iconic moment of his career, scoring a stunning long-range winner against Arsenal in the 1995 Cup Winners' Cup final. Naeem played for Zaragoza until 1997, then ended his career with Logroñés. After retiring, he managed Atletico Quetta briefly in 2006 before working at a grassroots level. He continues to hold close ties to Tottenham to this day. Wimbledon had 2 foreign players listed during the inaugural Premier League season. Hans Segers, a Dutch goalkeeper, joined Wimbledon in 1984. He became a mainstay in goal for the Dons, making over 250 league appearances and playing a central role in the club's rise and survival in the top flight. Segers remained at Wimbledon until 1996, before finishing his playing career with notable stints at Wolverhampton Wanderers and Tottenham Hotspur. After retiring in 2001, he transitioned into coaching and spent several years as a goalkeeping coach at teams including Fulham, PSV Eindhoven, and the Australian national team. He is currently goalkeeping coach at FC Eindhoven. His teammate was Robbie Earle, a box-to-box midfielder, was born in England but represented Jamaica internationally. He joined Wimbledon in 1991 and became one of their most respected players of the Premier League era, making 284 league appearances and scoring 59 goals for the club. After retiring in 2000, Earle moved into broadcasting and became a prominent pundit for ITV. He later relocated to the United States, where he has worked as an analyst for NBC Sports' Premier League coverage. Thanks for watching. If you enjoy weekly strolls down memory lane, please consider giving Retro Football Club a subscribe. See you next time.